afternoon, everyone, and welcome to this week's ClaritySoft webinar. Today is Tuesday, February 22nd, 2022, otherwise known as 2/22/22 today. Our topic for today is segmenting and searching your data in the ClaritySoft database. This should be a kind of fun webinar because searching for data and finding the records that you're trying to find is kind of exciting. So we're going to learn a lot of different techniques today. Hopefully you will add them to your different skills that you have in ClaritySoft, and you will be able to think of some really good ideas on how you can use the different search techniques, not only just for searching data in the database, but expand into creating filters for reports and for dashboards in the database. So let's get started. What we'll be covering today are the basic search techniques that ClaritySoft offers to you. The quick search you probably are already familiar with is the box at the top left in each module where you can type in a combination of characters to do a very quick search to find a specific record or perhaps a group of records that match that set of characters you've typed, and then you can go to the specific record you want and go from there. Global search allows you to search across the leads module, the accounts, and the contacts module all at the same time. This comes in handy when you are perhaps entering a new account or lead into the database and you aren't sure if it already exists in the database. So as a best practice, it's good to use the global search to search for the company or the person to see if that data already exists. If so, then you can go directly to the record wherever it is. Another way to use it is if your users are set to an individual access profile where those users can only see their own records, the global search allows them to see if an account or contact or lead exists in the database but belongs to someone else and they don't normally see that record, okay? And then advanced search is probably what you're going to use an awful lot as well. This gives you the capability to do any kind of search using different techniques. There's a form filter, the standard filter, a time-based filter, and also a product search. And along with the advanced search, the advantage to using that one is that once you've created a filter that finds the records you wish to create, if it is something you're going to use often, then you can take that filter and save it with a name, and we call it a view. And then you have a list of views that you can very quickly and easily pull up to rerun that filter at any point in time. And then, of course, the last thing is, well, how do you use all these searches in the database? There are various ways, obviously, to pull up a list to see the records you want to see, but you also can use the same searches in reports. When you're designing a report, I usually recommend that you test the search, the filter in just the opportunities module or accounts or wherever you're pulling the data from to see what records you're getting to make sure those records are accurate. And then you know that that search will work in your report. The other way you can use them is to navigate from places to places in place to place in the database where you might search at accounts, but you want to view the list of contacts. And so you can do the search at the account level, and then you can select the records, view the contacts. From there, you could select the contacts and send out an email. So there's a lot of different ways to navigate from place to place after you have used a search. So those are all things we will touch on today. We have a good group today, so welcome to everyone. Now let me get to my ClaritySoft here. Okay, so as I said, you have the different search techniques. They're all up here at the top left. All of the modules have the same setup here. And then also at the top left of each module, underneath the module name, you have your drop-down list of your different views. Okay, now my list will be different than yours, so don't worry about that. And you're able to very quickly go to a specific view or saved filter. Okay, and you can create as many of these as you wish. I will mention that you may have noticed in the last couple of weeks, this changed with our last release, where you now see a certain number of your views, and then down here you have a manage views, and you are able to look at the list of views from here and pick a view from here. And that previously was under here. It is still here, but you can do it from the drop down. You also can search if your list is long and you're not seeing all of your views. You can click in the little search here and start typing the name of it. So that is a little bit different than it was a couple of weeks ago. All right, so let's start with up here. I want to make sure that I'm looking at all accounts to start with. Okay, that should be the default view or filter. But you can change yours. And then the other thing you want to pay attention to when you're doing different searches is the total number of records that you have at the bottom. So I have 221 account records in my database, but as I do different searches, this number will change to show me how many records I actually found. And this helps you because if you know your data, you will have a sense of, well, how many records should I see when I do this type of search? So the quick search is here. You simply click in it and you start typing part of the name of an account. Okay, it can be at the beginning, it can be in the middle, it can be at the end. So if I just type in NOR, and I either can just sit here and wait, and the database will automatically go and search as soon as I stop typing, or I can type it and then press the enter key to speed it up just a bit. So you can see here the records that I found all have NOR in them. Notice that it doesn't have to be at the beginning of the name. It can be anywhere in the name, okay? So if you aren't real sure how to spell something, typing less characters is probably better than typing more. So you type it, you find it, you want to go to Norcross Carpet Cleaners, you click here to open the record and you go there. So very simple, quick search is its whole purpose, because if you've got, a few thousand records in here, you surely don't want to scroll through 100 pages of stuff looking for things. If I type in another combination, this time I hit enter, you can see that ERIC is in American. So I got the ERIC in all of those names, okay? So very simple, very quick. When you want to clear it, you simply click the X and that will clear it out and you'll go back to the full number. The other thing that you can search in the accounts module with your quick search are phone numbers. So if you know you're looking for a specific area code, then you can type in the area code. So if I type in 614 and hit enter, I will get these numbers. Now notice some of them have 614 area code, but here the 614 is in the number, okay? Now, if you have put your phone numbers in using consistent formatting, then you can come back here and I can type a hyphen. And notice now I get down to just the 614 area code. So this is usually something when you're going through implementation that Linda or I will discuss with you about formatting your phone numbers consistently, because sometimes people use the parentheses, sometimes people use the dots, and then sometimes people just use one big long number anymore and don't do any kind of formatting of the number at all. So depending on whether your numbers are in here consistently or not, you may be able to use that phone number search accurately or perhaps not. So it's just something that you're capable of doing, but it may not work really well for you. Okay. So that's there. If we go to contacts, the quick search allows us to search for either the company or account name as well as the contact. So whatever combination of letters you type in, it will look in both places. So for example, if I type in the ERIC, I'm getting American like I did before, but down here, Chattanooga Bridge and Highway does not have ERIC in it, but the contact name does. And the same thing here. The company name doesn't contain it, but the contact name does. Okay. So pretty much the standard is whatever module you're in, whatever is hyperlinked in that module. So the opportunity name, the account, and the contact are all hyperlinked here. So whatever you type in here, it's going to search through all of these to find the combination. Okay. So if I again, I'll try the ERIC, I get nothing. If I do, I know somewhere, I think in here that our project's called the big project. Nope, I guess not. Wrong database. But, oh, let me do all opportunities too. That maybe we'll get some. There we go. So here's big is in the big project. And then again, if I looked up Susan, I get all the ones that are connected to Susan Arnold. Okay. So again, whatever's hyperlinked can be used in the quick search for searching. And that finds you your record very quickly. Okay. Now, getting to advanced search, this little spyglass, we have different things here. We have advanced search, global search, segment search, and filter. The advanced search and the global search really will be the two that you will use. Segment search is from the original offline version of ClaritySoft, which we really aren't using anymore. And I don't know if any of you did the setup in your databases, but there are type A1 and type A2 and type C1, C2 fields that we really don't use anymore. That's what the segment search will look for. So this one you really won't use. Filter is part of advanced search. So you don't need to use this one, because your advantage in using advanced search is that you can save the filter. So almost always you want to go to advanced search. And when you get to advanced search, you see you have 4 tabs up here. You have your form filter, which just gives you your data fields where you can type something into the data field for the criteria, or if it's a drop-down type list, you pick from your drop-down list for your custom field. Okay. Standard filter lets you build a filter. For example, form filter, say on the state, would only allow you to search for one state at a time. You couldn't type in OH, MI for Michigan. You can only put in one because the field isn't going to contain more than one state. So that won't work on the form filter. But on the standard filter, you could say state contains OH, add another level and say, or state contains MI for Michigan. And you could build several ones if you wanted to search across. So that's the purpose of the standard filter, to build kind of a multi-level type of filter, and it will work in combination with the form filter tab. The time filter, this one is really important to learn and play with, especially when you start doing reports, because this lets you pick a date and then say, well, I want to see all of the records where, we'll keep it simple. The creation date, since we're in accounts, was, this 1 month or last month. I want to know how many new account records were added. What is my team doing? How many accounts did they add last month? And so I can create that filter to say creation date for last 1 month. Okay. And then it will search. If you save this search, then when it gets to be next month, like next week is March, then February becomes last month. So then it's looking at February. Right now it's looking at January. So this time filter is really helpful because you're not locking in a set of dates. You can, but this lets you roll forward. As you go through the months, it will roll forward and find the data according to the time filter. And then the product filter tab, if you're using the price book in ClaritySoft, you then are able to pick one or more products and look for those products that have been entered into a sale, a quote, or an opportunity record, and then find the accounts that have purchased those products. Maybe you want to email them something. So this makes it nice to be able to search for some specific products that people have purchased or you've quoted to them or whatever, and then pull up a list of the accounts. So this is why the advanced search just gives you the capability to do anything that you want and find the data that you want. So for example, let's say I do want to find everybody just in the state of Ohio. That's the only criteria that I want. So I'm going to type OH because I know that I have used the 2-letter abbreviation for all the states. Now, why am I not seeing any? So this is a curiosity to me why I'm not seeing any of those. Oh, I know what I did. I had a time filter in there. That's what I did. Okay, that's cleared out now. Okay. There we go. So now I have something, which I knew there were people there from Ohio. And I have 27 records down at the bottom. And the thing is, right now, I'm not seeing the state data column. And I am just curious, did I get all of Ohio or did I get something else, that maybe had OH in it? I don't know. So I want to use my vertical ellipsis, go to my column settings, and I want to pull the data fields into view that I want to see. And while I'm in here, I'm going to pull in a couple others because I want to do some searches on them. I want to know my account type. And I want to know my industry type. And I think that's probably good for now. So this brings to mind, if you haven't done this in your own database, you want to come up with custom fields that allow you to categorize your records. And again, if you have gone through Quick Start with Linda or myself, those are the questions we ask you when you're setting up your database. And because this is what allows you to search. So I have account type as whether they're a customer or a prospect or an inactive customer. I have an industry type. I have a territory. I can search by state. I can search by owner. I can search all these different ways or all combinations of these different categories. So right now I have only Ohio as the state, and I have 27 records. I now can see, yes, I did get all Ohio. And this brings up another point on data consistency, like the phone number. Sometimes when people are importing data, they will have the full spelling of the state. Some people will have the 2-letter abbreviation. So you need to make sure that is consistent throughout your database. You know, if some people are putting in the full name, you may want to have them go back in and change it to the 2-letter abbreviation so that you are consistent. And when you go to filter, the filters will work, okay? The other thing is you can see I have gaps in my data. If I'm searching for all the active customers that are in Ohio, I'm going to miss these guys. They're not going to show up. They're not going to show up as a prospect. They're not going to show up as anything. So no matter what search I do on the account type, they're not going to show up. And, you know, maybe my $10 million customer is in here and I don't have them marked. And so that could be a problem for communication purposes. So this is another thing, is to check completeness of data for searching purposes. Okay, so I did my advanced search for Ohio. I can see I got Ohio. And whenever you do an advanced search, up here, you get this red text called search options. And when you click on it, you can edit your view or your filter. You can save your view or you can clear it. So what I would like to do is I would like to find out who are all my active customers in Ohio. Well, I've got Ohio, but I want to edit this so that I can go to the account type and say, show me the active customers. So I have 2 criteria: active customer, Ohio. And now I'm down to 15 records. And I know some of those were blank, so I don't know if they're active customers or not. They need to be fixed. But you can see that I can have multiple criteria, and as long as I have my data column showing, I can see that I, you know, got the accurate information for it. So I have that. If I wanted to email them, and this is the what can you do with the filter after you create it, I can click here to select all the records. Then I go to my actions menu and I will see view contacts or view activities. So if I want to email, I need to go to contacts. So I can say view contacts. Then it's asking me, well, for all the records that are marked as checked or all the filtered records. In this case, it won't matter, but the way to decide here is look at the bottom, and I have 15 records that I found, and I'm displaying 100 records per page. If I had found 115 records, then I would want to select all filtered records because the checkboxes only go down to the first 100, okay? So usually it doesn't matter which one you pick, but definitely if this number is larger than that number, you want to do all filtered records. So you can see now, oops, anybody know why I'm not seeing any records? Right here, I didn't clear out Eric. So there are my records. So I have 26 contacts because I have multiple contacts for 1-800-CUPCAKE, which was one of the accounts. And I could now take those contacts, select them, go to the actions and say email. And then again, I can do all records marked as checked. And it will open an email. It will have all my people. and I can type an email and send it, and I've done it. So that's how you can filter at the account level, because you may have a field in the account record that you want to filter on that you don't have in contacts. And then you can select view contacts and then send emails. So that's a navigation thing that you can do within the database. Okay. Now, here's a little trick. So I'm done with that, let's say. So I can clear my filter. And now here's a little trick that I want to teach you, because again, I only have 200 records. You might have 10,000. And what you may want to do as a project is to figure out, well, where are all my blank records? So I can click here on account type and sort, and then I can click again till all the blanks bubble to the top. And I don't have too many because I actually was working on these yesterday to clean them up. But you could have, hundreds of them and you can't really tell. Industry type is another one. So here I have industry type, and when I go down, see, I have 221 records, but I go down 100 and I have more. I don't want to scroll through all of that. If I'm going to work on this, I want to know, well, how many records do I need to fix before I start this process? So what you can do is use your filters to help you. So what you'll do is you would go to your advanced search, and then this time you would go to standard filter, and you would say industry type, which will be down below here. All of your standard ClaritySoft fields are at the top in alphabetical order. Then there's a dashed line, and then your custom fields are below that in alphabetical order. So I go to industry type, and then I say is empty. I want to find all the records where the industry type has no data. I click search, and I find that I have 134 of my 200 records have a blank industry type. Well, that really kind of messes up my searching if I'm searching on industry type. And again, multiply it out. If you've got 5,000, 10,000 records, you could have a lot that don't have it. So this is cool, because now what I can do, I'm going to save this. As industry type empty. All right, so it's now up here under my list. So I can go to all accounts and see my 200. I can then go back up here and choose industry type empty. Okay, so if I'm working on this, I can make fixes, and this is what you need to watch. So I'm going to see here, what have I got going here? Trying to look for ones that are the same type. Well, let's see, what would be a good one? Okay, well, we'll say this one, we're going to look for retail type stuff. So I'm going to click here, and I don't know what that is, so I'm just going to say it's retail, and let's see, that one's retail. So I'm going to go down the left here and just find all the ones that would fit the same industry type. Okay, so I'm going to go here. And then another technique for ClaritySoft is the group edit under actions. And I'm doing the records marked as checked, which is definitely what I want to do here, because I don't want to edit all 134 records to the same industry type. And then I'm going to choose industry type and say that all of these belong to the retail industry. Now, I want you to watch this. Down at the bottom, we have 134 records showing. When I click apply, those 4 records that I had checked disappear. That's because they're no longer empty. So they disappear from the filtered records. This is what really helps you know, okay, I'm down to 130 records to fix. So you keep going, and you don't have to keep scrolling all over the place because the list keeps getting shorter and shorter as you go down through here. So this can be a very helpful thing for you to do to edit records and get things filled in. The other thing you could add to it if you wanted to, you could throw this back on your salesperson to do, because you could create the filter where the industry type is blank and the owner is a specific user, and then save it, and then that filter can be used by that person, and then they would have to fix their records. So you can do that too. So that's a little trick I wanted to show you, because it does help you find out how many blank records do I have, and then you can start working on using the group edit to update them and get them fixed so they're all done. And then when you're back, you just go back to all accounts. Okay, so that's a little trick to learn. All right, so let's create another advanced search here. Let's say I want all of the active customers. So I'm going to do active customers. I'm going to do the industry type of manufacturing. So I have 2 criteria here. But then what I want to do is I want to pull them all out from the state of Ohio and the state of Michigan. So if I click here and I go to state, and again, you could use equal. If you've used your 2-letter abbreviations, then probably equal is the best to do here. So I can put in OH. Then I'm going to add a level, and I'm going to say the state is equal to Ohio, or the state is equal to MI for Michigan. So this allows me to pull out 2 states. They have to be manufacturers and they have to be active customers. So that's what I get. So I get Michigan, I get Ohio, Ohio, Ohio. Okay. I want to save this list. So now I can say active, customers, OH, and MI. Maybe that's my territory. So that is now saved, okay? And it's up here under the list. So again, I can go to all accounts, see all 221, or I can come up here and choose that filter. Now, one of the questions that usually comes up is somebody says, well, what happens if a new customer meets those criteria? No problem. They will be part of the filter. So if I had another customer, let's see here. Did I save just Ohio? I did not. Okay. If I search for, let's say, just Ohio people, and I have this guy right here has become an active customer. So if I open his record and I change him to an active customer, All right. And then I can clear that. And then I can go to my active customers in Ohio and Michigan. He should show up now. Did not. Is there something I did that's incorrect? So where did he go now? That was active customer in Ohio. Should show up. What else did I use? Was Michigan or Ohio? This is where I get messed up sometimes, where it should be and or in the filter. Oops. Let me go back here. Sometimes, yeah, so if I go here to manage views, and then I want to edit this, I can do an edit here. So we have manufacturing. That was the other thing. I forgot I did manufacturing. Okay. He wasn't in manufacturing. That was why he doesn't show up. See, I don't remember what I do. So I go back. Too many levels. Yeah, see, no industry type. The filter worked. So if I change this to manufacturing, save and close, and then clear this out. And here we go. There they are. So as soon as it meets the criteria, then it will come into the filter. So that just everybody always asks that question. Okay. So that's working with advanced search. Let me show you global search real quick. You can do this from accounts, contacts, or leads. But let's say I'm in leads and I have a new company that I want to add to leads. And I don't know if they're in the database. So rather than search here, search accounts, I can do it all at once. So if I go to the Spyglass and choose global search, then I can click in the check boxes to say where to search and then type in my name. So this pulls up Orchid Global. Okay, maybe my company name is Global something, but maybe it is Orchid Global. Okay. And it shows me that Orchid Global was a lead. So they must have been converted because they're also an account and there's a contact for it. So it finds it. Now, if I type in something else, let's see, and I get nothing. If I get absolutely nothing, I'll type something kind of weird, then I know it doesn't exist in the database. Okay. So that's a helpful thing for people because it is a good practice to check whether something exists or not. All right. The other way that this can help you is if you have people on your team that are set to be an individual access profile. So I've logged in as Jim Smith. Over here, he's can only see his own records, and he can see a total of 30 out of the 221 that are in the database. Okay. So if he wants to add a new company, then, he can do it in leads or wherever, but he can go to global search. And we will see here the account. Oops, I forgot to click in the other ones. And he will see, oh, Orchid Global is in here and it's owned by Susan Morris. So Susan already owns this account. And if you click here, say to go to the account details, it will show you the name and the date it was created and the last touch date. If he tries to go to that account, it says you don't have permission. You cannot go there. Okay. You just know that they're in there. And so that protects the person from, hijacking something from another person, but at least lets them know that account or that contact is already in the database. So that's where the global search can help with individual folks, because then they will see, oh, that's already there. Not going to step on that person's toes. Okay. So that's the purpose of that. Okay. All right. Now let's go to opportunities. And I mentioned at the beginning these little filters at the top. And these become more important when you're in opportunities or you're in leads, because these will determine what you see. And there are, depending on what your default is, when you get to opportunities, sometimes it's not set to all opportunities, it's set to active or active this month. And you enter a new opportunity and you save and close it, and then it promptly disappears. And then you're like, oh, where did my opportunity go? It didn't save it. So you enter it again, and then it disappears again. And finally, once you get frustrated and you either call us or you figure it out, and then you've got 3 of the same opportunity in there that you entered 3 times. So you always want to check these drop-down filters up here. All opportunities means it's going to show you all opportunities ever entered into your database, however long you've been using it. And then when you select that, it will show you at the top and the bottom the total value of all of those opportunities. And it's not looking at stage, it's looking at nothing. It's just a list. And I have 534 in my database. Okay. Now, when you come back up here, you also have active or all active opportunities. Okay. So this one will show you all of your opportunities that are considered active in ClaritySoft. You can see the difference in the value. Okay. What's the difference between active and inactive? An active opportunity in ClaritySoft is anything that has not been won, lost, or is at no decision on your sales stages. Okay. As soon as something is won, the system considers it inactive. You're done with it. If it's lost, it's inactive. You're done with it. No decision, you may be temporarily done with it, but again, it's not active anymore until you change it. You change it to, another stage that makes it active again. So all active tends to be where people would work most of the time. Okay. But also notice that you have active this month. What that means, it's an active stage, but the close date is also the current month. So I have 11 that are currently active or have a close date of February. Okay. And so that's the difference there. That's where you have to pay attention, because sometimes you might have this active this month set as your filter. You enter a new opportunity and you put the close date in March or April. And then when you save and close, it promptly disappears because the close date isn't in the current month. Okay. So always pay attention to these in the opportunities. And then you can use this, your filters to help you see what you're doing and what's going on in the database. So it's kind of like running a little report inside the database without actually having to run the report or print it out, because you can create different filters for things. So for example, let's say I wanted to look ahead for my opportunities that are currently active but have a close date of the next 3 months. So I'm going to go to advanced search, and I'm going to choose, first of all, the standard filter. And just in the last, I'm going to say 6 or 8 months, we added a field called status. And the status is either going to be active or inactive. So if I want all of my active opportunities, then I'm going to say the status is active. And then I don't have to say the sales stage is this or this or this or this, which is why we added it for reporting purposes. Then the time filter is going to be the close date is the next 3 months. Okay. It could be this 3 months. Now, if you did this 3 months, it would include this month. So it'd be February, March, April. Next 3 months will be March, April, May. So you'll have to play around with these a little bit to see what you want. But I'm doing the next 3 months. Click search, and then you want to check. So what I usually do is sort by my close date. And if I click once, I'm doing newest to oldest, oldest to newest. Okay, so I'm doing oldest to newest here. So I'm doing March. Then I see April down here. And then I see May. Okay. So this gives me a look ahead of the next 3 months and how much money we're expecting to bring in over the next 3 months. Then I can save this and say, and I like to put in the name what the filter is so I know what I'm pulling up. Okay. So then I would save this, and then I can easily switch to, active this month is 47,000. Active next 3 months. And if you don't see it, here it is, you can go down to the manage views. And then it shows me, okay, we went from 47,000, but in the next 3 months, we're expected to bring in 1.5 million. Okay. So it's a way to very quickly run that filter and see what's expected in opportunities using your active opportunities and the close date. This also kind of forces your sales team to make sure that these close dates are accurate so that you're getting accurate values for these lists and the values that you're getting here, because this needs to be updated in order to, stay current. Like I have, right here, all the active, I've got these guys that were supposed to close in January and they didn't. So I need to update these close dates all the way down through here, 2/24. So these first ones here, I need to get in there and update those close dates because they're now inaccurate for what's coming in. So that's what the purpose of the close date is, to keep you on track. All right. So do that. And then again, those can be filters you use in your reports. Now, when you save a view, I mentioned that you can share them with other people. So once you've saved a view, you can go to manage views. And then I just saved this one, active ops next 3 months. I can come over here and share it. And then I can choose to share it with everybody, or I can choose to share it only with those people that I know will use it. Okay. So I can pick the people I want to share it with and then share it. Now, what will happen when Jim Smith logs in and he goes to opportunities, he will have the view, but it will be marked as being shared. So he will not be able to edit it. Anybody who's seeing a shared view will not be able to edit it. Only you as the owner are able to edit it. Otherwise, it would create a mess in the database. So, if somebody's very good at creating these filters and saving them, then those can be shared with other team members. And you have different ways of looking at your data. Okay. Let's see what else I want to show you. We're running out of time. So use your time filters. Let's see, just a quick one here. Maybe in all your active opportunities, you wanted to find all the opportunities that are greater than, let's see, $10,000. Okay, so I can go to advanced search. Here, I would need to go to the standard filter and select amount. And then I'd be able to pick greater than or equal to and put in 10,000. So there they are. So all of these should be greater than $10,000. And they're all, this is all opportunities. Now we probably would also want to edit it to set the status to active so that we're not getting, see, we got a bunch of ones that were 1. So if we wanted to edit this, then we could say on the standard filter, that's the only place you're going to find that status is under the standard filter, just so you know it's not under the form filter. Status equals active. So now we should have eliminated all of the ones that are in active stages, and we have all of our sales that are currently active that are greater than 10,000. So, okay. So hopefully I've given you some ideas on things on how to do stuff in the database. And as I said, these filters flow into doing in reports and dashboards. So you're pulling out the data that you want in your reports and dashboards. I'm thinking if there was one more. Oh, I know what I wanted to do was go back to accounts and go to advanced search and the product filter tab. So let's say I want to find all of the accounts who have purchased any one of these coffees. Okay. And I can look at sales if you're using it. If you're not using the sales module, you could go to the opportunities module or quotes, whatever you want to do. So let's look at quotes. And then I click search. And these are the companies who have purchased or have been quoted those coffees, those products. Okay. So again, do I want to send them an email? Okay. So I can select them, view the contacts. Then in the contacts module, I have 16 of them. And then for the actions, I can either email them, or if you have the marketing module, you could go ahead and send them a marketing email through the marketing module. So whichever you happen to have, you can do, and then pull it up, create your email, send it. The other thing you can do too is you can search in accounts. So we'll just do these guys again, and you can view all the activities you've done with them. Maybe you want to see them, and you can get a list of all the activities you've done with those accounts. So explore that actions menu, because there's a lot of things that you can do. Once you've filtered a list, you can bounce from place to place and see a list related to it. So from activities, you can do actions to search for activities and then view accounts or contacts. Okay, so go and look at that. So we've pretty much reached the end of our time. Hopefully I've given you some ideas. That's always my goal, is to make you think about things and how you maybe can improve the setup of your database by adding some custom fields that would help you do better searches. And then apply those searches to reports or other things that you're doing in the database. So get in there, do some exploring, see what you can find, just play around with it. A lot of times it's sort of fun, especially in the quick search, is to type in a combination of letters and see what you get. And sometimes you're surprised, like, oh, I didn't realize that combination of letters was in the middle of all those names. But a lot of searching, that's the whole purpose of having the database, to make it easy to find things. So with that, go back to here. And first of all, thanks for attending. We haven't done this particular webinar for a year, so it was good to update it. And because the database has been updated as far as the screen goes. If you need any help with anything, if you're in Quick Start with Linda or myself, then you can contact one of us with your questions. If not, then you can contact our wonderful support team at 888-838-7487 extension 2, or email them at support@claritysoft.com. They are available between 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday through Friday. If you have ideas for future topics that you would like to see, because we've added a lot of new functionality to ClaritySoft, and so we're kind of catching up on some webinars for that, please let us know at info@claritysoft.com. Or if you have ideas for improving these webinars, making them better and more useful for you. So let us know. With that, I will say good afternoon. Have a wonderful rest of your day and enjoy your evening when you get to it.